Hey everybody, Gunnison Undercover. Today is Sunday, February 10th. I'm down here at the waterfront in Port Monmouth, New Jersey. And I have an update, a press release from the police chief over at Long Branch regarding that fine, upstanding officer he has working over there by the name of Patrick Joyce. You know, the one that swore an oath, and he's out there protecting the servant from what everybody always keeps trying to tell me. So I'm going to read and let you know, and I'm going to give some comments on this chief, because this chief is, he's full of it, if you ask me. Okay. And this is on the Long Branch Police Department's Facebook page, and it says, press release. As with any investigation, especially one involving a law enforcement officer, I cannot legally release certain information to the press, no matter how much I want to, until that investigation has been complete. This was the situation with the incident involving Officer Patrick Joyce, Jr. Now that the investigation is complete and charges filed, I can issue the following statement with much outrage and embarrassment. Officer Patrick Joyce Jr. was charged with criminal sexual contact, 4th degree, and harassment, a disorderly person offense, by the Monmouth County Prosecutor's Office on Friday, February 8, 2019. While the matter was under investigation, he was immediately suspended without pay, which was supported by the command staff of the department and the city's leadership. He is now facing termination of his employment. While it is true that his actions that led to these charges were conducted when he was off duty, it matters little to us. He has defied the public trust and harmed the reputation of our department. Police officers are supposed to protect the public, not prey upon them. Many will point to his past transgressions, as alluded to in several news articles and my videos. This is one of the many reasons such prompt and decisive action was taken immediately following this incident. There's a process to be followed in all discipline cases, as there is now. I apologize to the residents of the city of Long Branch that the Long Branch Police Department serves faithfully every day, and hope you will not judge us on the actions of one officer. There are 90+ other officers here that put their lives on the line for the city of Long Branch, as one did just days ago, saving the life of a woman being violently assaulted. These officers serve with pride and distinction and deserve your support now more than ever. I sincerely hope this explanation clearly expresses our commitment to excellence and professionalism. Thank you, Chief Jason Roebuck, Long Branch Police Department. Well, let's talk about this. Chief, why haven't you fired him now? Don't talk about it. Fire him. He's a bum. You know he's a bum, and you've been protecting that bum since what, 2010? He got arrested for a 2nd-degree assault. He gets pleaded down to simple assault, and he takes a plea. He pleads guilty. He admits to being violent, and then he's rated. He got 52 incidents of excessive force. He's one of the top sluggers in the state, and you still kept him on. And now he does this. Come on, Chief. Who are you bullshitting? You've been coddling him all along. You've been covering for him. Now, because it's caused you big embarrassment, now you got to do something? Well, do it. Fire his ass. And let me tell you about the fine, upstanding officers that this police department has produced. I ain't saying all the police down there are bad. I know some down there are good, and they shake their heads at all this crap. I know the story. I know how it goes. Their hands are tied. They're stuck. But you know what, Chief? I'm going to call you out on it. Let's talk about the fine, upstanding officers your police department has produced within the last 2 to 3 years. Because you don't want to talk about it, I will. Let's go down the resume, Chief. Let's talk about, where do you want to start? There's 4 of them. Alfred Sestaro, 43 years of age, former Long Branch PD cop and former president of the BBA Local 10, stole $84,000. Let's go down to the next fine, upstanding officer your agency produced. This one was Officer of the Month, Jake Pascucci. We all know what he did. He pleaded guilty to vehicular homicide and DWI. He killed a poor woman, a woman trying to cross the street to get some stuff for her husband who's in a wheelchair, and they were out on a nice little short vacation. Yeah, fine upstanding officer he was you produced over there. Officer of the month. Yeah, killed that poor lady. Smashed her all up. And then we get to the next lovely officer who's still on duty. Omar Akel. Yeah, you're a canine officer. Don't you use the canine to circumvent search warrants on people's cars? Yeah, we all know what he did. Left a bar at 2 a.m. in the morning. Wrapped his car around a telephone pole in town. You offered him a way out, didn't you? You take him down to headquarters, you don't breathalyze him for 2 hours later. He gets arrested for reckless driving and DWI, and because your officers botched up the investigation, he was able to get the driving while under the influence tossed. He should have been stuck with reckless driving. He did crack up his car, but no, it got pleaded down to careless driving. And guess what? Still on the job, isn't he, Chief? You got a known drunk driving one of our cars out. They're one of the taxpayers' cars. Is he causing the liability insurance to go up now because he's a drunk? Yeah, another fine upstanding officer you produced. And finally, the officer of the year. I mean, he's almost as good as Pascucci. But this one, he has a long history of being coddled and protected. Patrick Joyce, criminal sexual contact for his own sexual arousement and enjoyment, and harassment. Yeah, 4 officers that your agency has produced. And you know what, Chief? It comes back to you, because you're the guy who's in charge. You're top brass. What do you get, Chief, a year? $197,000? Why don't you explain to everybody why you're worth $197,000? I'd like to know. I think the taxpayers like to know why you're worth $197,000, give or take a few bucks. And finally, and not finally, there's something else here, Chief. Let me scroll down till I get to it, because this is really irritating me, and it's irritating a lot of people. It's an insult to veterans, and it's an insult to everybody. Chief, why don't you explain this? Why don't you explain that nice little gang flag up over on the taxpayer's wall? Yeah, it's a gang symbol, Chief. It's a desecrated American flag that you got over your desk, hanging up on the taxpayer's wall. You know what that flag represents? It represents bad cops. That's what it represents. It represents you against us. Put the American flag up there, Chief. The one you swore an oath to. The American flag that represents everybody. What you got up there is disrespectful to veterans. It's disrespectful to everybody, Chief. And finally, Chief, there's one other thing I'm going to address to you, Chief. You took an oath to uphold the Constitution. And part of that Constitution is the First Amendment. You know what the First Amendment is, Chief? If you don't, I'll send a copy of the book over to you. Compliments of me. So, Chief, I saw this little thing here. It says, think. Before you post, think. Well, let's go down and read this, Chief. Because the way I see it, you open yourself up for a lawsuit. And I'll read this to everybody just so you can see. And I'll put all these links in the description so you guys can go read it. It says, please take a moment to review a few of our guidelines pertaining to content and posts on this page. They are taken directly from our story, which can be found in our About section. In a nutshell, while we value different opinions, please remember to keep posts and comments clean and appropriate for all ages. Thank you. Inappropriate content will be hidden and or deleted, and inaccurate content will be corrected when we find it to exist. And let me go down to this further down here. Some comments are hidden until approved by a page administrator. Posts containing profanity are automatically hidden by page preference settings. Any posts that evade the security settings and are deemed inappropriate by the administrator of this page will be hidden and or deleted. Such postings include, but not limited to, any comments that contain or express vulgarity, hatred, bias, harassment, threats, advertising, solicitation, personal information, and spam. Such comments could also invoke some of the following. Well, let me explain to you something, Chief. You don't choose the narrative of what the taxpayers or the public wants to say on your page. I agree with you. Vulgarity is not the place for it. But who are you or your administrators to decide what is appropriate on your Facebook page? That page belongs to the taxpayers, not you and not your administrator. And you got me blocked on there, Chief. And you know why you blocked me? Because I went after you about that Jake Pascucci a while back, didn't I? Yeah, you blocked me on there. Now I can't post. You know what, Chief? You're opening up yourself for a lawsuit. And I understand you blocked another activist out there, too. I strongly suggest to you, Chief, that you unblock me from your Facebook page. I've never made a posting on your page that contained vulgar language or any kind of foul language or any kind of hatred. That's not my style, Chief. I just put the facts out there and I call it like it is. I think you're a phony, Chief. $197,000 a year phony. You block people on Facebook, which you know you're not supposed to do, right, Chief? You know you're not supposed to do. And hiding their comments, it's the same as blocking. You're regulating and you're stifling citizens' ability for free speech. You took an oath to uphold the Constitution, Chief Jason Roebuck. Chief, produce some of the, you know what, your department's produced some of the worst officers here in Milam County. And you still haven't fired this clown. Fire him. Don't tell us about it. Do it. Fire him now. And unblock everybody from your Facebook page. If somebody puts a cuss word in the thing, you just delete it. That's all you do. You allow the post. Who are you to block people from the page that belongs to the taxpayers, Chief Roebuck? This is Gunnison Undercover. If you don't like what I just told you, go to Long Branch Facebook page and express yourself. Remember, no foul language. Keep it professional. You are representing. I'll put the links in the description for you. Like, share, subscribe. And as always, keep an eye on the cops. Don't believe anything they tell you because most of the time they're full of it. Just like this Chief Jason Roebuck over there. He's full of it. He's a $197,000 a year gas bag. Till next time, it's Gunnison Undercover.